to get a little bit more single guys like me to go over there and buy some. So I get it, Tim. I get it.
Listen, I get it too. I get it, but it just doesn't make any sense.
Mayo experience.
Mayo experience. Mayo experience. Mayo experience. Experience.
Welcome to the Pat Mayo Experience, presented by Underdog Code Mayo. At Underdog right now, get yourself a deposit bonus of up to $1,000. The Custy Awards preview show, which means the Custy Awards are coming very soon. If you missed the live show, we put all our attention onto that for Cust Corner over the course of the summer. That's out on the pod feeds and on Mayo Media Network YouTube channel right now. Please go check it out. Custy should be coming in a few weeks' time. But right now, in the comment section, what I want to hear from you, and you do it, you get into a draw for a free PXG Black Ops driver, is what's the biggest lock to win a Custy in 2025? We'll go through the categories, go through the nominees. In the bottom, you put me what is going to be a lock for this, and smash the like and sub to the channel while you're here. And if you want to put that lock into the Spotify comments or an Apple podcast review for the Pat Mayo Experience, well, you just get 3 more ballots into that draw if you go do that. To break this all down, Aaron Bronsteter, Kenny Kim, the regular panel for the Custy Awards. Kenny, you were perusing this list beforehand, and some of these categories were tough to vote on.
It's going to be difficult. Tim went wild this year. It looks like Tim went wild this year. Lots of gonna. I think there's gonna be some close calls where like 2 or 3 are gonna be real tight in each category. This is my favorite show of the year. I look forward to this. It's gonna be a fun show.
Bronsteter, we're gonna start off with Andercursed non-sports. We're going to get into a big category to kick things off here. So let me read you some of these nominees, unless there was one that stuck out to you. Did you look at the list?
I started looking at it, and it was so crazy that I was like, I'm going to just go in blind. I'm going to go with my gut, because if I think too hard about this, it's just going to torture me all day. So I'm going to just go with my gut when I hear something come up that I think makes a lot of sense. So let's hear the list, and we'll roll with it.
Well, Kenny, this is one you were there for. This was in Montreal at the President's Cup. Tim said that Maggie Smith was in her prime as an actress. It would make a great follow-up to Kathy Bates on Matlock. She died the next day.
Yeah, that's tough. I just watched Downton Abbey, right? And she makes that show. And I was thinking about Tim the whole time I'm watching Downton. I'm like, I can't believe he killed her. There's been a lot of murders this year by Mr. Tim Anderson, and this one hurts. This one hurts.
Dr. Ruth is on the list, as she was listed as one of Tim's role models for appearance. She then died 2 days later. And this one I didn't realize was so personal to you, Bronsteter. Mike Bullard. Now, many people might not know who Mike Bullard is, but Tim just out of the blue asked me why no one knew who Mike Bullard was, and he died later that day.
Yeah, a friend of mine's brother was dating somebody who was like a producer on the show. So whenever there was a guest that we wanted to see, and this was when we were like probably 16, 17 years old, we could get tickets to be in the audience. So we got to see, like, when Blink-182 was playing, we could see them play. When Tom Green was the guest, we would go and see them. I was actually there once when Landsberg was the guest, and I ended up working for Landsberg years later. Michael Landsberg, for those not familiar with Canadian sports personalities, had like a TV show that lasted like 17 seasons, which is like the second longest running TV show behind like the Beachcombers in Canada. And so we'd always get tickets. So I got to be in the audience for like maybe 10 or so Mike Bullard shows.
You knew that Off the Record was on its last legs once they started having me as a guest, thanks to you, but it was done for at that point.
Believe me, there's been a lot worse guests than Pat Mayo over the years that we would book if we needed somebody for our panel. So I don't put you in that group. You're like a tier 2 panelist.
Oh, excellent. I got into a fight with Hal Johnson on that show, which is not something that I ever thought would happen in my life.
Yeah, getting to see Hal Johnson and just be around Hal Johnson was kind of cool, because like Body Break was like part of Canadian lore back when we were growing up.
So the next one, Shake and Bake. Tim said that Shake and Bake was still roaring in popularity. The brand soon removed the bag designed for the shaking from the box, which came under fire from various social media influencers. Cody Lanchar, who I think is the biggest loser as a part of this year's Custys because he should win a Custy, but I don't think that he's going to win. Viewer of the Mayo Media Network, he set out on a goal of listening to each episode of Cust Corner and then providing recaps of each Cust Corner. And he did that, and he became gravely ill and hospitalized, I think, twice during the entire run of him recapping the Cust Corners. That was no match, Kenny, for Stefan, who met Tim at the President's Cup, shook his hand, and then had his car stolen later that day.
That was probably the most insane story, the most insane start of a day, because we were all getting ready to go to the course to watch the President's Cup, and Geoff reads this tweet. I think it was either that night or it was the following day after it happened, and he reads this direct message from Stefan, and all of us, when we were listening to him explain the situation and what happened, we're just flabbergasted around there. And this one's probably the most personal one because Stefan is a delivery man too. So he needs his car to like work. And so this messed up his entire life. I think this one might be the winner.
Bronsteter, Stefan came on stage with us at the live show and shook Tim's hand again, playing with fire.
Yeah, I mean, has anything happened to him since? Is everything? Have you heard from him? Do we need to send out an APB?
I mean, I haven't heard from him, so that's probably not great.
You should probably reach out to him and just make sure that everything is copacetic. But you know what? Like, Stefan's going to win. I'll just say that. Like, I think Stefan is probably, of all of these categories, the biggest lock. That being said, I didn't hear about Cody because I was reading his recaps on social media of all of the different episodes and just kind of remembering all of the insanity from over the years. But like, how gravely ill did he get? Like, was he hospitalized for like a long period of time? Because if so, like we might need to add him to some consideration here because he was like way into like the custosphere and breaking down every single episode, which, you know, like that's pretty risky in and of itself.
I believe Cody was the one who sent Tim the Batman Forever mugs too.
Yeah, I mean, well, so I mean, he's like you said, kind of playing with fire. Like I've always thought about sending you stuff for custom, then I just think to myself, like I don't want the smoke. Like I should stay as far away from this man as possible. And I still have never met him, and that might be a blessing. But you saw what happened earlier this year where he mentioned you on your show, and I was sending you DMs being like, I'm going to be on an airplane tomorrow. Like I'm hoping that everything is okay. If anything bad happens, please tell my family I love them, kind of thing.
Fortunately, I think you're enough in the sphere where it doesn't impact you.
Okay, well that's good. I'm insulated. All right, I'll take it.
The last one, Kenny, is McDonald's E. coli. Tim demanded that quarter pounders be a larger focus from the McDonald's marketing team. He also said that the quarter pounder is among the best burgers in the world. Later in that segment, as we were recording, the BBC reported that McDonald's quarter pounders had caused an E. coli outbreak.
That might have been one of my favorite episodes because I remember it vividly with Tim talking about the McDonald's, and he's the one that brought up to BBC. I guess he was flipping through his phone, or he has like notifications on from McDonald's. I mean, it's Tim. It's possible, right? And he said that on the show, and I remember you and Geoff just lost it at that moment in time. One of my favorite moments from Cust Corner this year. It was hilarious.
So it's a competitive category, but I'm with you, Bronsteter. It's got to be Stefan.
Yeah, he met him, and then that day his car got stolen. Like that, I mean, that's probably about as bad as it gets in terms of the curse. Because, yeah, like he entered into, he like shook his hand, which probably was a mistake to begin with. Although you said that he shook his hand again recently, maybe he's hoping to reverse the curse by doing so. But that's pretty bad. Like that's how often do cars get stolen? Wasn't this in like Nova Scotia also? Do cars get stolen frequently in Nova Scotia?
Yeah, it was at the President's Cup in Montreal.
Oh, it was in Montreal. Okay, well that's. Even still, I mean, it's at a golf course, but and I imagine there are probably nicer cars than the one that Stefan drove. No offense to him.
Like, if I remember, it was like not
like a Honda,
like
wasn't
that car. It was like a Honda or something like that, right? I mean, like, yeah, that story is crazy. And the thing is, like, meeting Stefan in Toronto, such a nice guy. Like, still a fan of Tim, still a fan of the show. I mean, if that should happen to me, I would probably never step foot in a 100-mile radius of Tim if that happened. And same with Cody. I mean, those two are like super personal. You know what I'm saying? Like he's fucking up people's lives at this moment. Those two are 1 and 2 for me.
Yeah, they're 1 and 2 for me as well. Then I would guess it's probably Mike Bullard or
Yeah,
the
he's so
McDonald's
obscure.
Ebola.
Like Mike Bullard is obscure, and I mean, like Maggie Smith and Dr. Bruce Westheimer were pretty old, right? Like, so I mean, they, not that their day is coming any sooner. I mean, Cust mentioned them, and they did die, so they do fit into the category. But I don't think Bullard was that old.
I mean, it's not the first old that Tim has killed.
Oh, many.
Angela Lansbury, Meatloaf. I mean, he has a track record. Serial killer Tim.
Meatloaf wasn't that old, was he?
Maybe, I don't know. He just looked old.
He wasn't in the best shape, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But that radio show was one of my favorite ones of all time. Like the one where he mentioned the radio show when it got canceled the next day. Like that one's pretty good. In my like Mount Rushmore of Cust, like Andercursed non-sports, that's definitely on the Mount Rushmore for me.
Well, I think that's what we're doing for the 10th Custys. It might be the last Custys. It dies after a decade that we might do the all-time Custys.
I think you should keep it going every year, though. It's a tradition unlike any other.
Yeah, maybe we can get up and we'll be old people talking about this like it's the Masters. Yeah, so yes, it's Stefan. Although maybe he didn't find his car, Kenny, because it seemed like the Montreal Police Department only hired one way, and that was hot female cops.
It was the craziest thing that we noticed. Like, they have all the cops on the street directing traffic and stuff. Every female cop is like an 8 or above.
I noticed that this year when I was in Montreal. I was in Montreal covering the UFC, and there was like a cop at Starbucks, and I was like, that's interesting. That's different.
Yeah. The cops in America, like female cops, do not look like that. Most.
But
there's been some instances.
But Montreal, on average, like the median is a lot higher.
Yeah, would you say?
I mean, the thing is, on my feed, when I went to the Players in 2019. And I remember vividly this one beautiful police officer that was outside of a nightclub that we were going to that night. And I was hammered and I was hitting on her the whole time. If you look back in my timeline around the Players in 2019, you'll see a picture with me and the pretty cop. I was definitely lit and I was definitely hitting on her.
What do you think the best looking city is in North America?
Oh, I think it's Montreal. I think it's Montreal.
I would say like in Miami, everyone's just all, Lord knows the surgeries that are going on for your average person. Like there in LA, you have no idea. But just like natural beauty is good looking people in Montreal.
The correct answer in America is Charleston, South Carolina.
Really?
Yeah. The ladies in Charleston, first off, there's like 6 universities like right around Charleston. So it is, it's just all these Southern beauties with the beautiful Southern accents, blonde hair, the SEC type girls. It's nice in Charleston, I would say. If you get a chance to go to Charleston, Pat, play some golf, eat some good food. And I mean, I know your wife might be watching, but maybe look at some pretty women.
Yeah, listen, even if she is watching, would she think I'm blind? Like I have my eyes cut out?
That is true.
All right, next category. We got sports. This one's less fun just because it doesn't have, deaths of people. So here's some of Cust's worst takes from the year. The New York Jets, shocking. Tim said the Jets have the most talent at every position in the league. They were eliminated from playoff contention by losing to the Dolphins in Week 14. The Chicago Bears, who Tim predicted would make the Super Bowl last year. And as of the writing of the Custy Awards, they had currently lost 8 consecutive games. It did not go well for them. The PGA Championship. Tim claimed that the PGA Championship was over on Saturday, 18th May 2024, and that Scottie Scheffler was assured to win. Scheffler obviously was arrested that week and then lost to Xander Schauffele by 8 strokes. The Dallas Cowboys, Tim claimed the Cowboys were sure to come back from 14 points down to Green Bay in the playoffs. They did not. The Cardinals, Tim claimed the Cardinals were the team that he would most want to see do well outside of the New York Jets and that Kyler Murray was an MVP candidate. The Cardinals beat the Jets that week, but lost 4 of their 5 next games, and they were eliminated from playoff contention. Mike Williams. Tim claimed that Mike Williams was a top 10 receiver in the NFL after being signed by the New York Jets. He recorded 166 yards over 9 games and was traded for a 5th-round pick. Jameis Winston. Tim said that the New York Jets would be 9-3 if Jameis was playing quarterback instead of Aaron Rodgers. Jameis was benched on the Browns later that week. Man U. Tim said that New York Jets being in the current position was as unlikely as Manchester United being relegated in the Premiership. The next game, their manager said relegation is a real possibility. Man U has not won the league since 2003. You can tell that Rob, who does the Custy Awards, loves soccer, that no one else cares. And then Cedric Tillman. This is my pick for this category. This is what I voted for. So he didn't know who Cedric Tillman was. He's a Browns receiver who I had been using on DraftKings on my fantasy team. He was really good. He saw Tillman have one catch. He said, oh, man, that guy's really good. On that same play, he took a concussion and missed the rest of the season.
Those are brutal. I mean, like, the two that pop out to my mind is the Bears, because their run of 8 straight losses started with the Hail Mary from my team, the Commanders. So I got to thank Tim for that one. Thank you, Tim, because, I mean, we lose that game, we might not make the playoffs. We had to win our last game to make it, even though we were 11-5 at the time. But I think the winner for me, and I'm partial, I'm a golf guy, right? If Tim's powers are strong enough to fuck with Scotty Scheffler, I think that's got to be the win, especially the season he had last year. I know the PGA Championship was a little bit different. Motherfucker got arrested, right? Little different, but I think if he can cause issues to Scotty Scheffler, I think that one should be the winner, and I think he should continue doing that every time Scotty plays.
Well, 3 of these, Bronsteter, are all just Jets related. There's the Jets one, there's the Mike Williams one, and the only reason that he was talking up the Cardinals because they were playing the Jets, so he felt like if the Jets beat them after he talked them up, it would feel like a good win, and they lost anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that much about golf. I know that Scotty Scheffler is one of the best golfers, but so I'll defer to Kenny on that one. But for me, it's the Arizona Cardinals because he was like waxing poetic about them. He was like, these guys can win the Super Bowl. Kyler's like a top 5 quarter. Like, he was really talking them up, and like, I had never heard him mention them before, really. Like, it was like one show where he spent like a good chunk of time talking about how good they were, and they just fell off a cliff after that. Like, and Kyler's season just went like totally off the rails, and the team just like you said, they could barely win. They won 1-5 in their last 6, and they were doing really well at that time. So I'm going to go with the Cardinals for me, but I think you're kind of right. There's a bit of oversaturation with Jets storylines. But like, the thing about Mike Williams is, like, at the beginning of the season, he was talking about how Mike Williams was like a top 10 wide receiver out of nowhere because he used to rip him all the time. But I think everybody kind of knew that he wasn't. Like, that was kind of, I think, Tim trying to like wish it into existence. But the Cardinals for me, I think, because like I'd never really, again, heard him talk about them at all.
It's weird that the sports Custy things, I feel like, live more in the moment than thinking back to them, because I don't even remember half these.
Yeah, if you go back and listen to the episode where he was talking up the Cardinals, like, he was like convinced they were like a Super Bowl contender and like a sleeper, and then they just totally went off the rails.
So we got most reverse cursed of the season. Always something to pay attention to, because you can win a lot of money doing this. Paul Shaughnessy has won a lot of money betting against the curse over the years. I think the biggest one he hit was the Argentina to win the World Cup after they lost to Saudi Arabia the last time around. After that, and Cust laughed at them, danced on their grave, and then they won the World Cup anyway. So most reverse curse. The Mets. After long picking the Mets, Tim abandoned the Mets last year for the first time in 7 years and said they had no chance to come back after falling behind against the Brewers in the NL wildcard round. They came back, won the series, and what did Cust do? He jumped back on the Mets, and they instantly lost in the next round. England. Tim said that England would be a disaster at the 2024 Euros, and they made it to the finals. The Bengals. Tim claimed the Bengals were trash and not worthy of further discussion. They won their next 4 games and only missed the playoffs on a tiebreaker. The Packers. Tim claimed the Packers were terrible and would be lucky to be 500. They ended up making the playoffs, even with an injured Jordan Love at the beginning of the season. The Celtics. Tim said that the Celtics had failed repeatedly and envisioned they would again and would not win the NBA Finals, which they ended up doing. Marlon Humphrey. Tim said that Marlon Humphrey was an example of a cornerback who was not good anymore. As of week 18, he was tied for 3rd in the NFL on interceptions and number 9 graded cornerback by Pro Football Focus. And maybe the biggest one, which would be, Kenny, in my opinion, if I was to leave a comment to win the free driver, this would actually be my pick. I think this is the biggest favorite. On the Week 15 recap show, Tim discussed how teams are allowed to take a free attempt at a field goal if a fair catch is called towards the end of the half. The rule had not happened in almost since 1976. That Thursday night, following the show, the Los Angeles Chargers attempted and made the free kick 5 days later.
That's actually a pretty cool reverse curse. I'm going to give Tim his flowers for this one. I know we give him a lot of shit. A lot of it deserved, right? But for this one, I'm going to give him his flowers because that was pretty cool, right? For him to say that on the show and for it to happen for the first time in over 50 years the following week, I think that's pretty cool. We could put a little notch on Tim's belt for like a cool reverse curse, maybe for the first time on this one. So I'm going to give Tim his flowers on that one.
If you ever need to know an old-timey rule, Cust has you covered.
I believe that.
Yeah, I've got to agree with this one. Like, it's so obscure, like so obscure. And the fact that he mentioned it that same week, like that's might be the biggest reverse curse ever. Like I can't think of anything like this in the history of at least us doing this panel show, Kenny, where it's like something I didn't even know about this rule, but the fact that he mentioned it and then it was somehow used that week, that's pretty weird. Like that's like that's almost like the weirdness of the curse being I mean, it's a reverse curse. Basically, it's exactly what it says it is. It's like one of the bigger reverse curses ever.
Yeah, I think this has to be the runaway winner of this category.
Did they make the field goal? Because if they missed the field goal, it could have been a curse, but I imagine they probably made it.
They did.
You made it.
Yeah, okay.
Most egregious claim. Now we're into the big time categories. War. Tim claimed he would be an excellent soldier in war. Also, he refuses to eat fruits with bruises on them because that's gross.
It's on brand.
Mobility. Tim claimed to be average amongst young adults in terms of mobility.
Yeah, that's that. No, I mean,
is he a young adult?
You know, I mean, yeah, I don't believe. Yeah, I think he's talking out of his neck on that one.
Well, but he overestimates his own ability a lot of the times, as this whole show is kind of dedicated to.
Yeah, and I have a reason for that. I'll talk about that later. I did write up. So I did have some stuff. You asked me to have something about Toronto and some stories. So I have some stuff about the guys. I have a reasoning behind that for Tim, and I'll go over that here when we do that part.
All right. Well, there's a tease for the next segment. Bronsteter, 18 shots and 18 holes. Tim said he could competently complete a round of golf, taking a shot for each hole he completed. Yeah,
I mean, that one's very egregious because he probably wouldn't be able to walk, but especially in the hot sun.
I'm a trained professional when it comes to drinking. I would not be able to do that. I would not. I would be dead by the 12th hole, and it's actually happened to me before, where I've fallen asleep at the 12th hole. It was actually at a strip club golf tournament, Scramble, that I played. It's actually funny. If you go to the Hooters in Roanoke, there is a picture of me with all these titties in my face, and I'm just passed out on the cart like this. So I've been in that situation, and Tim, yeah, that's not going to happen, brother.
He then amended that claim after we laughed at him that it was a shot of beer at each hole, which is like 2 beer for the entire day.
Yeah, that's he'd be okay in that regard.
To give him
like a quarterback.
Yeah, to give him his credit, he ended up doing. Do you know what the Century is?
Yeah, Century Club. Yeah.
Yeah, he did that on our golf trip this year. After we all
he did okay because I heard that you can get messed up from that.
No,
he tried to stand up afterwards to like take his victory lap and almost ate it through the coffee table. Which is pretty funny.
Yeah, that could have gone full Matt Foley on that one, but yeah, I heard that you can get messed up from doing that, even though it's just beer.
Did you know that Tim claims to be one of the world's leading experts in holding a flashlight?
I don't know what that would entail, but I do, I do think that makes sense that he would say that.
Tim claimed he could easily achieve being a black belt in a variety of martial arts disciplines. He's just too scared of being injured.
Okay, well, I mean, then you can't be a black belt because you'd be sparring with people to get the belts. Like, you can't be like a Brazilian jiu-jitsu black belt without getting injured. Like, if you've made it to black belt in Brazilian jiu-jitsu, you've gotten injured somewhere along the line. Like, if you haven't, you're like made of titanium.
I'll be honest. Getting a black belt's not that difficult. I am a black belt in Taekwondo. All right, so I'm a black belt in Taekwondo. I got it when I was.
Did you get injured at any point?
What?
Did you get injured at any point in your training?
No.
Oh, okay.
Never got injured. I mean, we sparred and stuff like that, but we had like the protective gear, the helmet, and all that stuff.
Yeah, because you're kids.
My big thing was kicking people in the shins where they didn't have protection. I was big on that.
That's a veteran move for a 12-year-old.
Are there different levels of black belt for kids and adults?
Yeah.
Not in
Sort of.
Taekwondo, because I had to train with other black belts when I got my black belt. And the way that Taekwondo works is if you're the highest ranking belt in your training session, you have to lead the beginning before the sensei comes and does his normal thing. You lead the stretching, you lead all that stuff. I was 11 and leading all that stuff, because I was the highest ranking black belt in a lot of the practices and stuff that we went to.
Was it like a white person's Taekwondo gym, and they were like, "Hey, this Asian guy, let's give him a black belt. He must be better than us."
No, like my grandmother was banging the main guy. That's how I got in at that point in time. My grandmother back then, she got around.
It could have been some nepotism involved.
And that was one of the dudes. And Master Kang was one of the guys. So I might have had a little advantage, because of the grandma in that situation.
I don't know if Cust is going to have those same advantages acquiring his multiple black belts.
Yeah. See, this one is egregious. I don't think it's the most egregious of all of them.
Really, you don't think it's the most egregious?
No, and I cover mixed martial arts, but I still think that there are more egregious ones on here for sure.
Would it be mountain climbing that Tim claimed he could easily climb to the base camp of a mountain?
It's in my top 2.
That's in there. That's up there.
It's in my top 2.
What about that he predicted? So he started a thing called Project 118 since this day has come, and he talks about it all the time, where he predicted he could easily live to be 118 years old.
That one's also in my top 2. So now you have my top 2.
Yeah, and a truck driver. Tim claimed he would make an excellent long-haul truck driver.
I mean, apparently he's not even an excellent driver, period. So, I mean, that's horrible. Probably already.
He's really bad and scared of driving on the road. Like he almost.
I mean, this is a tough category.
I just got a text from my son that my dog just ate an entire thing of croissants upstairs. So
is that good or bad?
No, I mean it's not great. And my son's vacuuming it up.
No, but it's not like the dog ate a bunch of chocolate or grapes.
No, that was a couple weeks ago where he ate a bunch of chocolate chip muffins. But if we leave anything on the counter, he finds it somehow.
Sounds like you really lack discipline. Maybe you need to go to Master Kang for your dog.
We need to use our bread box is what we need to do.
A bread box? I haven't seen a bread box.
Bread box, we never use it because when we use the bread box, we forget stuff's in the bread box. And you know what? Maybe we gave the bread box away. We might still have it. I don't know. That's how infrequently it's used.
My wife just bought these like plastic containers for everything. We have them in the shelving in the food closet.
Plastic containers would be a good move. That might be the move.
They're good because you can stack them on one another. You can manipulate them around and get them out easily. Nothing can get into them. You actually have to open them so they do stay fresh a little bit longer. And then they're not that big. They're probably like a 1.5 feet by half a foot long or a foot long, something like that. You can get whatever one that you want.
Yeah.
But it'll keep the bread fresh. It'll keep chips fresh. You can put all the candy together. We have all the kids' stuff together, all of our stuff together. It's just very easy to find. My wife also bought a label maker, so she labels everything that's in it as well, which is very handy.
All right. Well, I'll use code word Mayo to buy those plastic containers when you get a plastic container sponsor.
I should be getting the plastic container spot. I don't even know what the sponsors are for this. My ad buyers are kind of weird that there's a chance that this show doesn't have ads in it, which is just insane.
Well, I mean, I imagine this is one of the more listened to shows of the year because everybody loves Cust Corner.
Yeah. And, Kenny, I have a booze sponsorship coming up soon.
Booze? What kind of booze?
I can't say the name of it because I haven't officially signed the contract. But good news for you, or maybe not for your heart, or liver. I can't accept it because of tariffs, and I'm in Canada, so I need to send it to someone in America.
Hey, I will be there. I will be there for it. I'm actually trying to get a sponsorship for our show for a nicotine toothpick company, and I'm trying to quit smoking on. So we're in the same boat when it comes to stuff like that. I guess we'll see if those pan out.
Yeah, well, I sent him the info sheet today, actually, so
okay.
I should hear back early next week.
All right,
I'm actually enjoying that product. Like it's helping a little bit because I've been trying to quit for a while now, and it's not the best. But this actually does help.
Feeling stuck in your daily wellness routine? You're not alone. Our friends at Cornbread Hemp, they heard you. Their organic CBD gummies are made to help you feel better, whether it's stress and poor sleep or just needing a moment to unwind. Personally, I started taking them before a round of golf because I've been dealing with this tennis elbow issue. It's starting to go away, but it tightens up on me throughout the course of the round. So just when I pop a Cornbread Hemp CBD gummy, all of a sudden loosen right up, playing a lot better. Highly recommended if your muscles seize up or get tight during a round of golf. CBD might be just what you need to level up your daily routine. Cornbread Hemp uses only the best parts of hemp plant, the flower, for purest and the most potent CBD. No fillers, no junk, just full spectrum goodness. Right now, they're offering 30% off your first order. So go to cornbreadhemp.com/PatMayo and use code PatMayo at checkout. That's cornbreadhemp.com/PatMayo with code PatMayo to get 30% off your first order. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Part of my wellness routine this year, at least in the summer, has been focus more on family and focus more on Pat Mayo. So, been doing fewer shows, upping the exercise, eating better, and a lot of people don't have the privilege and luxury that I do to be able to take time off like that, especially during the summer when stuff can start to stress you out. If you have kids, there is no summer for you. It's just daily, nonstop grinding every single day. Couple that with workplace stress, and it's a bit difficult. Workplace stress right now is one of the top causes of declining mental health, with 61% of the global workforce experiencing a higher than normal amount of stress. So maybe BetterHelp is exactly what you need to do. It's helpful for learning positive coping skills and how to set boundaries. It empowers you to be the best version of yourself. It isn't just for those who've experienced major trauma. If you feel anything going on with you, you need to go to betterhelp.com/PatMayo right now. With over 30,000 therapists, BetterHelp is the world's largest online therapy platform, having served over 5 million people globally. As the largest online therapy provider in the world, BetterHelp can provide access to mental health professionals with a diverse variety of expertise. Unwind from work with BetterHelp. My listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/PatMayo. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/PatMayo. Even though the 4th of July is in the rearview mirror, there's still a massive opportunity to get some Omaha steaks, get outside, have a cookout, and I'm going to make that easy for you, because if you go to omahasteaks.com right now, you can get 50% off site-wide, plus my listeners are going to get an extra $45 off with promo code MAYO at checkout. There's no better thing to do in the summer. You have the family over, you have the friends over, you're having some drinks, the kids are playing in the yard, you're spraying a hose at them like that creepy guy in Billy Madison, and you have luscious steaks on the grill. And it doesn't even need to be steaks. It could be anything that you want, because Omaha Steaks has it done for you. They also carry mouth-watering burgers, chicken, pork, seafood, and delectable desserts. So get fired up this year, this summer, with Omaha Steaks, and visit omahasteaks.com for 50% off site-wide and get an extra $45 off by using promo code MAYO at checkout. That's 50% off at omahasteaks.com and an extra $45 off with promo code MAYO at checkout. See site for details. Before we get into this, Kenny, I wanted, because Bronsteter wasn't able to make it to the live show, which is unfortunate, because Bronsteter would be... I saw Aaron host the roast of Gabe and Cam, and I don't think I'd ever met you at that point. And I was like, oh, fuck. Like, Bronsteter's hilarious, and he's doing a good job of this. So I thought you would have been a good addition to the Cust Corner oeuvre of just being around, even if you weren't a part of the show, just a comment or two from the crowd. But you knew everyone there. Kenny was meeting all these people for the first time, basically. So, Kenny, do you want to give us a play-by scouting report on the people that you met?
Yeah, so I'll go over, the guys of Mayo Media Network and their intricacies and stuff like that. Let's start off with Mr. Patrick Mayo, El Jefe, El Patron. Honestly, it looks like Pat got his shit together. I'll be honest. Lovely supporting wife, beautiful children. really admirable stuff starting his own company, and the work he puts in is strong, and it shows with the successfulness that he's been through. But there are moments where you could tell, Pat used to get down, right? You could tell there's still those moments that Pat has. He can easily shift from family man to pre-family man, and you can tell he had a lot of fun back then. He could shift to a business owner to a 3 a.m. partier with a snap of his finger. And I think the best thing is a very understanding wife. Very, very hard to find. So congrats to you, Pat, on that. Very, very understanding wife. I was pretty amazed about that. So that's my thing on Pat. Let's go on next.
Hold on. I feel like the major takeaway from the weekend was my wife. Big winner of the weekend.
Yeah, she was. She was such one of the cooler chicks that I've met. Pretty good catch, brother. I'd have to give you an applause for that one. That's a solid work there, my friend, because from all my friends that have gotten married, they don't chill like they used to anymore, mostly because of their wives, and all my friends' wives hate me. So yeah, it was nice. She was a very, very pleasant one. All right, next it's going to be Jared. No more intern Jared. And I know Jared's listening right now, so and you're probably going to cut this out later, and that's okay. I understand, but I'm going to go say it anyways. Jared, I had a blast with him in Montreal. Took him to the strip club, got him a lap dance. And the thing is, after his lap dance when we were in Montreal, he left for about 20 minutes, and we're like, Jared, where'd you go? He was like, oh, I had to call my girlfriend. I sort of give him shit for that. Calling your girlfriend after you get your lap dance. I don't know what happened there in the champagne room. But I'm, and then in Toronto, he actually met his girlfriend. And Jared, I understand now. I understand. His girlfriend, absolutely gorgeous, first off. And it's super cool. Great personality. Like, you're finding an 8, 9, or 10 with a great personality is like finding the fucking holy grail, right? And so I understand now, Jared. I would probably do what you would have done. After I got my dick sucked at the strip club, I would have called my girlfriend. I'm kidding. If your girlfriend's listening, he didn't get his dick sucked. I'm kidding. It's part of the joke. Maybe. But we'll see. I don't know what happened in the champagne room, but I don't think that's what happened. Now, let's see if this actually makes the final cut. Next one's going to be Geoff. All right, so think about Geoff, right? When I first met Feinberg, it felt like we were like long lost brothers. This was in 2020. We were at the Honda Classic. Within the first 30 seconds that I meet Geoff, right, we're smoking a bowl together. Like, literally, like, genuinely a nice guy, but he has his triggers, right? He has his triggers. We were walking to the company dinner in Toronto, and there was a pro-Palestinian protest on the way. And he just looked at us calmly, like no big deal. And he was like, you know what? I'll meet you guys there. And we're like, what do you mean you'll meet us there? He's like, oh, I got something to do. So he proceeds to walk over to the protest and then just start yelling at people. It was crazy. He just started yelling at people in the middle of a protest. I mean, no fear for Mr. Geoff Feinberg, especially when it comes to his people and his heritage. I mean, the same thing happened in Toronto or in Montreal. We were at a casino. We were having a couple drinks at the bar. We were pretty loaded, and he just starts yelling at the top of his lungs, "Fuck Hamas!" Right? And this was pretty bad time in that whole situation. It's just yelling it out loud. And I start looking around, and it's a lot of light-skinned brown people around us at the time. Like, Geoff, you gotta chill the fuck out, or we're gonna be in some motherfucking trouble. But hey, he's strong in his beliefs, and I can respect that. Okay.
Now, Bronsteter, you have the other side of the Geoff experience, but I as do I, working with him for so long. But the quick trigger thing, it could be, he does have the quick triggers. It's usually Chargers related, but it could be anything on the spectrum of non-serious to serious, but handled exactly the same way.
Yeah, Geoff's like always smiling, and then one thing will set him off, and he'll just go into a frenzy. And he'll always his like eyes kind of close, and his brain's moving faster than his brain's moving faster than his mouth is, and he can't get the words out fast enough. But you can see the wheels spinning, and he just starts going off the rails. And it's really hard to like bring him back because you have to kind of like almost talk him off a ledge. But that's Geoff will like he'll always be smiling and stuff, but then like he's kind of like looks down and he just starts like ranting. He's very similar to Jeff Garlin from Curb Your Enthusiasm. Like there's a lot of parallels. Like, I know he's kind of compared to Seth Rogen, but I think the closest comparison to him is like Jeff Garlin. When Jeff Garlin gets mad at Larry for things and starts like ranting, because that's like kind of what Geoff is like.
And you got to meet Feinberg's wife too, didn't you, Kenny?
I did. Beautiful, lovely woman. I mean, something about the women of Mayo Media Network, I mean, outside of me, is pretty impressive. I mean, everyone's punching up. They're definitely punching up when it comes down to it. I mean, even Cam. Let's talk about Cam. All right. Here's the thing about Cam. The reason I went to Toronto was to meet Cam. You see him on the shows. He looks like he's a bunch of fun. Here's the one thing I will tell you about Cam Stewart. What you see on camera is the subdued version of Cam Stewart. That is like the subdued, chill version. When you meet Cam in real life, wow, it's an experience unlike any other that I've ever dealt with. Like, the guy is the center of everything, and it's amazing. Like, here's the thing: like when we were at the dinner, all of us were loaded. He's standing up, and he's ranting about whatever the hell he's ranting about at that moment in time, right? And wine glasses everywhere, bottles of water everywhere, and he talks with his hands very animatedly when he's doing this. And the crazy thing is, like, he would be missing like wine glasses by like 2 millimeters and missing bottles of water by like an inch. And I'm like, one of these is going to fall. But then after watching him a little bit more, he is like missing. He knows exactly what he's doing. Even though it seems like he's going wild and he's crazy, he is tactically like still there. Even though when you're talking to him, you might not think that he's tactically still there. Again, another girlfriend, lovely. I'm actually a big fan. We actually still text back and forth from when we were in Toronto. I don't text Cam. I text this girl. I'm not. Don't worry, Cam. But she's a really, really nice girl, and I'm a fan of hers. And she asks me for some golf plays on occasion, so it's fun.
She won't take Cam's golf play. She'll take your golf plays.
Yeah, I guess that's what she's doing. I don't know. I don't want to get her in trouble. Okay, but she really nice girl. But Cam, what a wonder. And the thing is, genuinely, you could tell that he is a kind-hearted, good person. Right? I mean, you could tell. He gets emotional about certain things that really mean a lot to him, and he doesn't mind showing that to people. And I love Cam. It was a great experience meeting him, and it was definitely he's one of one.
Bronsteter, as his former producer, Cam Stewart's, would you agree with Kenny that he's subdued on air versus off air?
It's pretty close to the same. Like when he is on air, if he's in like a bad mood, he can mask it a little bit better on air. But like that's kind of the thing I'll give him a little bit of credit for. But you can still tell when he's in a bad mood. Like if I watched Cam do a radio show or TV show today, I would be able to tell what his mood was like that day just from like watching him on air and getting the vibes from him. But I mean, Cam is like it's almost like Chris Farley, like the closest thing to Chris Farley that I've met, because he's just like he's like you said, he's the center of attention wherever he goes, and he's always trying to make people laugh. He'll open up to you, like even if he's just met you. He's just that kind of guy. He's like a big teddy bear. But I haven't seen Cam in some time, and I kind of miss the guy. But yeah, that's
I don't know how many times have you hung out with Cam at like 2 a.m? Not
many, I would say.
That's when it was wild. It was wild. We had a lot of fun together. I could say that.
So you got to give us Cust.
I did. I was saving him for last. Since this is his show, I was saving Tim for last. Tim, genuinely one of the nicest guys out there. Super intelligent. Of course, outside of some basic elements of common sense and street smarts. But that's why we love him, right? That's why, that's why we love Tim. The thing is, he's really such a nice guy that it's hard to really make fun or talk shit about him, even on his wild takes. Like when I didn't know him, it was a lot easier to be like, I find something on X. I'm like, this is Tim, like Andercursed, something like that. It was a lot easier. Now that I know him, right? I mean, we're acquaintances. I mean, maybe if I consider him a friend, but we're not like close. I've only hung out with him twice. But after hanging out with him these couple of times, I've had so many tweets that I've had like drawn up about him. I'm like, man, I don't know. This might hurt Tim's feelings. I'm not going to post this. I've done that multiple times with Tim because he's such a nice guy. Like, I'll give you an example. We were partying, and it was like a whole bunch of friends of friends, like in a room, and we were just, we were getting lit, drinking, whatever. And Tim was in the room, and he was still a part of he wasn't doing anything that we were doing. He might have had a beer or something, but he was, still a part of the vibe of the room. And honestly, if that was me, and if I was dead sober and I was around 10 people that were just obnoxiously fucked up, you know what I'm saying? Like, I would have no patience to be there. I would have left. But Tim hung out. He was involved in some conversations, and you know how these conversations can get when you're in that type of mind frame. So I thought like that was really, really cool. Like, no judgment. He's not judgmental, no judgment from him at all. So here's the thing, like when it comes, I can't imagine and I think a lot of people that know Tim, like I know Tim, like just a little bit, just hanging out with him a couple of times, probably thinks the same way I do. And so in that sense, if he says something wild and outrageous and that it doesn't make any sense, I think it would be hard for people like me to actually like tell him like, what the fuck? That's why I think it's good that Tim has Pat, right? Because Pat and Tim are best buds, and I could see why. Pat can talk all the shit he wants to Tim, right? Because they're truly friends, right? It's that type of relationship, like best friends. With your true friends talking shit, it's sort of the norm, right? But as acquaintances, like I am with Tim, it's tough to say things to him that, about stuff that he's saying and making him feel sort of bad, or like, why the hell would you think that? Like, I couldn't do that yet. I don't have that relationship with Tim yet. So I think if he didn't have you, Pat, I think it would be a lot fucking worse.
Oh no. So what you're saying is that I'm doing the public a safety of keeping Tim in line, so he's not just cursing everything.
Yes, exactly. Like if he didn't have friends like you, I think it would be a lot worse. His takes would be more outrageous, and he wouldn't believe that he was wrong.
I am not the one who goes in viciously at him amongst our group of friends. We have another Tim who is sized up for that. That's his role, attack dog on Cust, almost every single day. So that was the recap of what everyone is. Bronsteter, did you know that in Toronto, after the company dinner the day before the show, the night before the show, Cody Saftik delivered a baby in the hotel room?
Yes, I heard that on his show. And my favorite part of him talking about it on the show was how seamlessly he transitioned from giving birth from delivering the child to talking about how the previous week went in MMA plays, like with like without missing a beat. And I was like, yeah, I mean, you can tell this is his third kid because he's not talking about the miracle of life. He was like, yeah, so I had this baby. And I mean, last week, the picks were pretty good. Like I thought we did okay on the board. And they just seamlessly transitioned from like viewing like the miracle of life and helping be a part of that to just like talking about his picks from the previous week. So that's the, typical third child experience.
The first baby ever delivered in that hotel. I believe that they offered them like a free week.
They offered him a free week there, which is awesome.
They gave him a free week?
Something like that,
They ended up going home. So I believe that they, on the anniversary of the date, I believe that they're giving them a free hotel room.
That's awesome. I mean, the funny thing about that story is we were in Paul's room, It was me, Paul, I think Geoff, Cody. We were all drinking. We were all partying. At that point in time, I was literally shit-faced. Like, it was like and I'm sure everybody in that room was shit-faced at that point in time, including, I'm guessing Cody was too. I'm guessing. And so just to deliver the child in that state of mind had to have been one of the crazy experiences. Maybe it sobered him up. I mean, if you see that coming out of that, that'll probably sober you up instantly. But I remember I went to bed at like 2:30 in the morning, or I went back to my hotel room, and all of a sudden I'm hearing all these sirens in front of the hotel. I'm like, what is going on? Next morning, we wake up. I talk to Paul. He's like, yeah, Cody's wife had the baby. I'm like, what the fuck? What do you mean he had the baby? I couldn't imagine the mind frame that he was in going in and seeing it and delivering that child. It's one of the craziest stories I've ever heard.
Yeah, it's absurd.
The single best comment from it was that, like, Paul had a picture of it, of not like just like what the room looked like afterwards. And Paul showed Geoff the next morning. And Paul just quizzed Geoff, like, what do you think happened here? And just dead sober, dead serious. Geoff looks at Paul and just goes, Kenny didn't kill a hooker, did he?
What movie is that from where they kill the hookers? Where Christian? What's up?
Lots of movies.
Yeah, it's the one where he like bangs her and pushes her up against like a door handle and it goes into the back. It might have been a Tarantino movie. It had Christian Slater in it. I don't remember. But no, it wasn't me. I'm nice to my strippers and hookers.
How about this? How about worst take of the year? I'm just going to run through these. Do we want to highlight? Because this is a very, very long one. There's one that he still talks about that just blows my mind. It's not going to win. It's not going to podium. But I do want to highlight that Tim claimed it was not uncommon for people to have stronger arms than stronger legs.
Yeah, no, that would be pretty uncommon, I would imagine.
Does anyone, unless you didn't have legs, is anyone on Earth like that?
If all you're doing is working on your arms, maybe.
Even if all you did was you did zero leg working out and only arm workout, wouldn't inevitably your legs still be stronger?
Yeah, because you can't like walk on your hands all day with like in a less labored fashion than walking on your feet. I guess that's what it would entail, right?
Yeah, there's some bad ones here. I thought that the indoor golf course, Kenny, would be a runaway winner, but I don't think so.
This list is like an embarrassment of riches. Like, there's so many bad takes on this list. There's like 11 things.
The cold cheese sandwich really fucks with me. Like, I know Tim. Like, here's the thing. Another thing about Tim is, like, this is not a bit. Like, these are like real thoughts from Mr. Tim Anderson, and he truly believes that prison cheese sandwiches are better than grilled cheese. With like the butter or the mayonnaise on the outside, nice and crispy. That's another hint right there. If you make grilled cheese, instead of using butter, use mayonnaise. It makes it super crispy.
There's only one on this list that I actually sent Pat a message about, and I think that's still my front runner, which is the Costco layaway. Because like the whole premise of Costco is like they get stuff out the door really fast. They sell it at wholesale so that people have to buy a lot of it at once. And like it would, first off, the amount of overhead that they would need to invest in having storage lockers as part of Costco so that you can store your other Costco stuff so a concierge could bring it to you. I mean, you'd have to build like floors above the wholesale warehouse to begin with in order to do that. But like the whole reason why why Costco exists, like, is because they're selling things at wholesale, which means that it's bigger quantities. That's the premise of the business. So to say that you should have like be able to buy like a case of whatever, like 6-pack of marinara sauce, leave 4 of them there, bring 2 of them home and just come whenever you want to pick up the last 4 is like an absurd thought that like still to this day like irritates me that somebody would have that take. And like it's clear that he's somebody who lives on his own, which you shouldn't have a Costco membership probably if you're by yourself. Like I just don't see how you're going to be able to maximize that. But if you do in fact fit that mold, then like the idea of them catering to like a single person home is the complete opposite of what Costco does. Like that's the opposite of their business.
And
here's the thing.
Let's say this existed and you could store your food there in a food locker and a concierge would come out and give it to you. How much would that cost in like to have that? It wouldn't be included with
Yeah,
your
of course.
membership. So you'd just be better off that if you had to go drive to Costco to get the extra bottle of ketchup that you had stored there, it would cost more than just going to the grocery store and getting a bottle of ketchup.
Right. Yeah. So all your savings are now like all for naught. But he believes it should just be a free included service with absolutely no upside for the company that would be offering it, like zero upside, only downside.
I liked the idea. As a single guy, you know what I'm saying?
Hey, listen, it's a good idea. It's a good idea in principle, but like it makes no sense. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I would love it if like every day, instead of going to the grocery store, they would prepare a meal for me at the grocery store and then drop it off at my home, and I could pay the same price as those groceries, but they would prep it all for me. That would be great. Wouldn't that be wonderful? My whole family could have a meal from the grocery store that I would just pay the regular price of groceries for, and they would just deliver me a cooked meal every night. Because why not? I'm the customer, and that's what they should do for me.
Okay, here's what I'm going to say about this. Because when it comes to this situation as a single guy, you know, you save so much money shopping at Costco, shopping and getting those big amounts, right? I want some of those savings. But I don't have enough room in my house to store everything that needs. Now, I don't want to pay extra, but if it came with it,
well, of course, again, it's a utopian paradise, but it doesn't make any sense.
Maybe. I mean, the thing is, they have a lot of room. How many single guys like me would want something like that? Not many. Like you said, the majority of people that go to Costco are going to do it because they have big families and stuff like that, big houses, and they want to buy in bulk, and they're going to save money in that situation. I too would like to save money.
Yeah, that's what wholesale is, Kenny. Like you could, like if you were to go to a restaurant, like a restaurant wholesale place, and because you can buy like 8,000 paper plates for like 1 cent each, rather than going to the grocery store and buying paper plates for 8 cents each. Then why wouldn't you buy the plates for 1 cent each? Well, it's because you're not buying wholesale.
All you have to do is leave like a locker for you or something like that, and then you could just put that in there, and then you take your two, so you're not overcrowded at your house. You take it, bring it with you, then go back when you need it. Because Costco in my neighborhood is less than half a mile away. Like that would be just super convenient if I could get 2 things of marinara.
So maybe you should buy a storage locker, Kenny, in your area. You just buy a storage locker and store your extra Costco stuff there. It's temperature controlled.
If they had it there for me, you know what I'm saying? Be like, oh, why don't you put this in my locker for me? I'll just take 2. And I would pay extra. It would be the single man membership.
Okay, now if you're willing to pay for it, I think this idea becomes different.
Yeah, I think
because you can just get a storage locker and pay $60 a month.
You know what? $10 a month. It's not like they need to make extra money. They sell fucking hot dogs for $1.50. They could take the fucking loss to get a little bit more single guys like me to go over there and buy some. So I get it, Tim. I get it.
Listen, I get it too. I get it, but it just doesn't make any sense. Well, like I get why he would want it, but it doesn't make any sense.
That's also the exact same thing as the indoor golf course. Like, yeah, great idea. Not feasible whatsoever.
No. But I mean, that's like astronomical costs. This is not astronomical costs. This is a new membership. Say Costco membership is $100 a year. I'll pay $120.
Yeah, but okay, let me ask you this. If it's on site, is Costco better off renting that out to you for some sort of space for $10 a year or a month, whatever it is, or putting more stuff in that space that they can sell?
Okay, I get that, but I mean, they're missing a little bit of. I mean, here's the thing. I mean, like they don't need more space. Those fucking places are huge. And the people that go there,
there's no world. You said you'd pay an extra $20. There's no world where for $2 a month you can get like any sort of square footage.
They
somewhere.
sell a hot dog for $1.50 foot long.
That's not actually losing the money. That's what they pay. That's probably still less than they pay for the hot dog itself. And that's to get people into the store.
If there was enough people that did it, they wouldn't be losing money.
Yes.
Just buy a 4-pack of paper towel. Like I mean, like are the savings that much that you need to buy a 16-pack of paper towel?
With the groceries cost nowadays, it probably adds the fuck up.
So this one is your gold medalist then, Bronsteter.
Oh yeah, because it's so egregious and stupid that it makes like it's because it's the exact opposite of the business. Like it's the opposite of their business model. It's completely contradictory to what they do.
Kenny, I feel like this one would have resonated with you when Tim said it was ridiculous to tip more on a bill when you've been in the venue for a really long time versus just pop in and out for a meal.
Yeah, me and Tim, we do not see fucking eye to eye when it comes to tipping. But I'm different. I've been in the service industry for so long that, you know, I just tip extra. And also I'm single. I have no wife. I have no kids. I have money to burn. You know, that's why I gamble. Right? You know what I'm saying? Like, I have money to burn. So I don't mind over tipping. And the thing that Tim doesn't, I don't know how much he realizes this is if you are a known bad tipper and you keep going to the same place over and over again, the people that work there know. We're like elephants when it comes to remembering bad tippers and good tippers, right? Like really good tippers. We're like elephants. So it's just natural that you're not going to get as good service. It's natural. The server knows you're not going to make as much money as you think you should. So why should we put the effort in to help a guy out like this and give him the top-notch fucking service that's available? And then the thing is, if you're going to lower class restaurants, it could be worse than bad service if you're a known bad tipper. So, Tim, be careful, bro. Like, if you go to a place one time, sure. But if you're going to a place over and over again and you're known as the bad tip guy, that can go very, very wrong.
Well, this is the thing, though. It seems like he doesn't ever go anywhere that actually necessitates tipping. Like when he talks about the places that he goes to, it's like the grocery store, the drive-through, like or any fast food joint. Like he doesn't really talk about like going to a restaurant by himself or anything. So that's why
go to a restaurant, he'll go 4 minutes before closing.
Yeah, I remember that story.
That's probably what he'll do.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Yeah, but the thing is, he now feels obligated to tip at Subway because when the prompt comes up, would you like to tip? And where someone like me can be like, absolutely not.
It is confusing. I can see like where, because whenever I'm somewhere and they're like, oh, would you like, where did I go? I went somewhere. I was somewhere recently. I think it was the Jays game, and I got like a thing of like chicken and fries, and it was like $17 or something like that. Because it's like, you know, whatever's ball game prices. But then asked if I wanted to tip, and I was like no, like, you know, like this isn't a restaurant. It's like it's a walk up. But maybe you should tip in that scenario. Should you tip? I don't know. No,
don't be bullied. Don't be bullied and strong armed into tipping at places that don't warrant. Like if you want to give money at McDonald's or Starbucks or whatever, do it. That's on you. But don't feel obligated to do so.
The one thing I will say about this type of situation is if you're going to a restaurant and you're picking stuff up, right? I mean, somebody is packaging your food. They are taking that time to package it. I mean, and they're making cheap labor.
If I'm not sitting down, I'm not tipping.
Yeah, I'm different.
I often tip in that situation. If I'm getting takeout from like a small restaurant, if it's a small restaurant, and the tip comes up, I'll often tip a little. Like it won't be like a full 20%, but I'll tip like 10, 15%.
I would say like 20% of the money I spend is on tips.
Hey, listen, if I go to a restaurant, I sit down. If I go to the barber, I go and sit down.
Yeah.
They get a nice tip. But I need to be sitting down. If I have to stand up and do things myself, I'm not tipping.
What about dog grooming? Do you tip the dog groomer?
Don't have a dog, but probably, yeah.
Okay.
I would tip in any sort of scenario where I think it could give me some sort of in or advantage or extra perk at a different time. For services like that, like non-food services, like if I had a dog groomer, they're like, hey, give them like an extra like $50 or something. Like I have no idea how much dog grooming costs. I assume it's how much does a dog groomer cost?
I think it's like $200. It's like $200. It's expensive.
I assume it's anything to do with animals. Is
exactly.
Expensive.
Always expensive.
But give the guy like an extra $50. Maybe the next time around you get the better shampoo. Maybe you get bumped to the front of the queue. Like I could see greasing the wheels that way.
Yeah, maybe.
The one I had on here was the fat gym. When Tim claimed that gyms should have allocated times where only fat people are allowed in the gym.
Yeah, that's a weird one. Because, like, I don't know.
I mean, they sort of have stuff like that. Like, Planet Fitness is like judgment-free zone, right? I mean, like,
shouldn't they all be though?
Not really. You go to a Gold's Gym, it's probably a little bit different, right? I mean, like, there are stuff that's sort of leaning in that type of direction, but like just talking about fat people, probably not. Probably not.
You know what you don't actually see a lot of at gyms in particular? Fat people.
Yeah, but,
Except maybe in January and February.
Make a change for the change for the better in their lives, and kudos to them. But I don't think that you need to have specific times for certain people to come to a gym.
Well,
Gyms
I
are
just feel like you'd be losing out because the people who really want to go to the gym are formerly out of shape people who are now in shape. They're the people who go to the gym the most.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. I think it's certainly an outrageous take. Like there's lots of them on this list.
And well, what qualifies for being fat too?
Yeah, that's the other thing. Are you getting on a scale when you get in? Are they checking your mass to like whatever height ratio? Like it seems like a lot of legwork to figure out what constitutes as that. And are they going to like turn people away if they don't meet that threshold?
Yeah, sorry, you can't work out today. Jared just started going to a Planet Fitness. Maybe he can weigh in on this. Jared. Oh, you are paying attention. That's good. Do you see like even at Planet Fitness? I would guess most people are in like reasonable shape. No. Geoff did call it Chubby Hour, which is a great name for it. But it was also during like peak workout times too. That just convenience.
Yeah, that just works with Tim's schedule. Yeah, of course. Yeah, as always, it's just like the Costco layaway.
The only other one here that I would kind of put on it is that Tim claimed that there was no distinction between chips and dip with like salsa and guac and nachos, that they're all the same product.
No, that's definitely not the case. Yeah, it's just
the Mott Stick frozen one is crazy too, and the Tupperware one is crazy as well. Both of those.
I forgot about the Tupperware one.
Yeah, the Tupperware one is insane. Sort of smart.
Taking advantage of the situation.
Yeah, but it's definitely sort of weird.
He got like 12 egg rolls for my Christmas party because Paul gave him Tupperware for a Christmas gift at my Christmas party, which he then used to fill because there was a big snowstorm the night of the Mayo Media Christmas party. So we had all this food for, I want to say it was like 80 people, but only 40 people showed up. So there was a lot of leftovers, and Tim just Tupperwared up and went home.
Yeah, I don't mind that too much. I don't want food to go to waste.
No, but would you want someone coming to your party with Tupperware in anticipation that there was going to be leftovers?
Then I don't need to worry about them returning my Tupperware if I'm giving them food.
What's that?
And then I don't need to worry about them returning my Tupperware.
I just feel like there's something somewhat imposing about like, hey, this person showed up like. The food's not yours.
Okay, so I'll give a caveat here. If they had the Tupperware in their car and they were leaving and they were like, hey, and I was like, hey, you want to bring something home? And they were like, oh yeah, sure. I actually have Tupperware in my car. I'd be okay with that. But if they came in with the Tupperware, that'd be a bad look. Like if like they entered the party with the Tupperware.
Just feel like they're not entitled to that food until I give them the okay.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. But you can like kind of hint at it and be like, hey, oh wow, there's so much food left over. And then that's kind of opening the door for, oh, you want some? You want to take some home with you? I'm not going to finish all of this.
This one's going to be
one thing I did forget was Paul Shag during the Toronto thing. I did forget Paul. The one thing I'll say about Paul, super nice guy, right? But he has like the male equivalent to resting bitch face. Right? It looks like he wants to fight people all the time. He just looks angry all the time. Great guy. I had a blast with him. I hung out with him a lot, both in Montreal and in Toronto. We hung out a lot. I like him. But he just looks angry all the time. He's got the male resting bitch face, I think, Paul.
I met Paul like in the last year or so in Vegas, and I didn't find that about him. I think he was a couple deep at the time, and he was just smiling. So maybe that's what it was.
Yeah, when we met up with you in Vegas, we were a couple deep at that point.
Yeah.
It's a fun night, actually.
Yeah.
Next category, most Cust impression is up next, and Cust will go through these on it. But did anyone stick out to you? I forgot that he did a Cam Stewart impression.
I don't remember that. I need to hear that. That would be amazing.
His King Charles isn't bad.
Yeah, this is like my least favorite category because I find that most of the impressions kind of sound just like Tim. Like
yes.
And I guess that's sort of the premise of it. But it makes it hard for me to pick somebody because they all just kind of sound like Tim doing like and the voice is always kind of the same voice too for most. Like the one he does for Lucille Ball is like the same impression that he does for like almost everybody else.
His Lucille Ball and Richard Nixon are very close.
Yeah, they're all basically the same.
I think I voted for his Julia Child impression, which was just outrageous.
I think we get rid of this category next year. What do you think?
Well, we're getting rid of Most Insane with me and Paul on the ballot. It's just going to be a 2-man race next
Well,
year.
that I understand. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, listen, I'm always open. If people have ideas for new categories, and
You could probably add like Cam to Most Insane.
You don't need that Ross Perot, third party
Yeah.
for that insane. It's just gonna sway the votes one way or
That's
the
true.
other. You gotta leave it. And Geoff is slowly creeping closer.
I don't know.
Each and
I don't
every
know
year.
about that, but it seems like every year Tim continues to win, and this year I think it's like a slam dunk for Tim. If you look at the list here, like this list is like an embarrassment of riches.
Yeah. This year, both me, Gary, and Paul are all off the ballot. It was just Tim and Geoff. You can't add Cust in though, because people have asked that, like, well, if you put Cust on, Cust would win, or Cam would win. But Cam doesn't do shows with Tim. It has to be a
that's true.
Tim-centric.
Yeah,
ballot.
that's fair.
Most Cust story. What are these ones? Oh, the media food. When Tim refused to eat anything besides the media food, Kenny, when we were in Montreal.
That was hilarious. Hey, the food was great. That was definitely an experience. I was all aboard on the media tent food for that one.
The media food was great, but like if you were hungry and not near the tent, you could. I do think that, Bronsteter, you probably have connected the dots on this. A lot of these statements that Tim makes are really just showing how cheap he is.
Yeah, a lot of the time that is the case. And there's it's always like one of his predominant character traits shines through in all of these for the most part. Like the fact that he wants things that inconvenience him, doesn't like that. Like things that add an extra 3 minutes to his day, doesn't like that. Things that involve technology, doesn't like that. It's always like these little like quirks that he has that always is like the impetus of all of these things.
But he will not stand for 3 minutes out of his day doing one thing, but he's also the same guy that will stand in line at the bank for an hour and a half to balance his checkbook.
Exactly, with like the rolled up coins. Like it makes no sense.
Yeah. Grocery packing, sorry. Tim said that packing groceries was very difficult and many people could not do it, Kenny.
Yeah, that one's wild. I mean, the people that pack groceries are like 16-year-old high school students.
That's the thing, right? Like the people that pack groceries don't really go grocery shopping, and yet they still somehow know how to pack the groceries, even though in the past they've never gone grocery shopping and packed their own groceries. So, like, quite simply, like, how hard could that be? Like you want to be able to maximize the space in the bag. That part I get, but like packing groceries generally, I was with my 9-year-old today, and he was helping me pack groceries. Like you just take the stuff and you put it in the bag, and he was doing a fine job at it.
I just can't imagine how bad he would be at Tetris.
I mean, hey, I fair enough, right? Like, can you fit the pieces together like puzzles? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, just jam them all together.
He seems like the type of guy that would like puzzles.
It seems like he would. I don't think he's a big puzzle guy, though.
Really? Well, because that's kind of an old person thing to do.
Yeah.
Like puzzles.
Yeah, he's a big trivia guy, though. He's a big crossword guy as well.
Mm-hmm.
And
I'm bad at crosswords. I'm just bad.
That's like, he probably got that from his grandma.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Yeah, that's an old-timey thing.
Also out on Sudokus, a.k.a. stupid people crosswords. Which I'm kind of on board with. It's like how I always label that show Suits, stupid person's Mad Men.
Does he do Wordle? Is he a Wordle guy?
I think that he was at the when everyone got into Wordle. I think that he did.
Now he's off.
Yeah, I mean maybe he still secretly does. He's just not posting about it all the time.
Yeah.
Robot helpers. Tim claims to shout "human, human, human" into his phone to try to get a human on the line from the answering machine.
Yeah, that's just a very Tim thing to do. I mean, that's why I guess this is the most Cust story. That's a very Tim thing to do because he's just getting furious that there's like not a person helping him.
I do that shit all the time. Operator.
Just press zero.
I do it all.
Zero.
If you press zero, you'll get taken to a human. You don't have to like yell at a computer.
See, I did not know that. I am just above Tim when it comes to technology and stuff like that. Like I'm an old man. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it takes me a long time. And like it took me a long time to get used to apps. It took me a long time to actually use apps to order food. Stuff like that. Like when you're a certain age, but the thing is, Tim's like what, 32, 31? You should be able to maneuver in that world pretty easily since he's been in that world for the majority of his life. Me, born in 1980, we didn't have internet till I was in college, till I was 20, so it should be a little bit easier for Tim.
Well, let's give. I mean, Cust is young. He's 37. He's not 31.
Oh, okay.
Fast food drive-through. Tim said that the wait for drive-throughs at fast food locations has become untenable. He also refuses to use online ordering, which significantly improves the speed of the drive-through.
This is like an annual one. Like this has been him for the last 3 or 4 years. Whenever this comes up, was like, oh, I don't like this. It's like, well, you could do this and make your life easier. And I was like, but I don't like that either. That's just kind of like the recurring theme with him.
A lot of solutions have been. Well, we've just went through this with his swing on the golf course. I finally hooked him up with my swing coach, who gave him the same tip that my friend because Tim and I all go golfing together. That the other Tim and myself gave him the same tip every time we've played for the past 2 years, and he refused to put it into practice, refused to do it. He goes to the swing coach once, and now he's doing it. He's like, did you know you should be doing this? Like, he doesn't want to hear it from anyone.
Yeah, unless it's like a professional, like somebody with expertise.
Yes, although he's not afraid to give out his expertise on things that
right.
he knows nothing about.
Fair.
Biggest Feinberg rival. One of the favorite categories, I think, of the people. Michael Staley is up first. I gotta think he's gonna win.
I'm just reading it. I don't even know the story, but that sounds very Geoff.
Did you remember this, Kenny?
I do. Like, I think he got like a DM from Michael Staley, which is, I think, the old coach's brother.
Yeah.
Right. And the guy asked him if they knew each other. Right. And then didn't Geoff just start talking shit?
Yeah, he just went on a rampage against this guy.
Yeah. Hey. I think his biggest rival is Palestine, I think, personally.
Yeah, I think for PR purposes, we kept that off the ballot this year.
Gotcha.
Tim Hortons. Geoff has cited Tim Hortons as a food dump and says that people only go there because it's Canadian. I actually agree with Geoff on that.
I think that this is probably the winner for this year. Jeff's like been going in on Tim Hortons this year, and I'd never heard him mention it ever in the past. He's like suddenly has a hate on for them. Tim Hortons is like, it's fine for like if I need like a quick coffee or a nice coffee, I'll go in there. It's fine.
Yeah, they moved the Tim Hortons by our office to the other side of the road, so I don't go there anymore. I just go to McDonald's now to get coffee. But
yeah,
when Tim Hortons was on the side of the road that I would drive by, I would just go to Tim Hortons.
Yeah, if I'm driving and it's like time for a coffee, yeah, like I'm not that discerning that I would like not go to wherever to get coffee. There are some places that don't have good coffee, like that just like that I would never. Where I drink it, I'm like, oh, this is really bad. Tim Hortons is not one of those places. I like the Tim Hortons coffee, and McDonald's coffee is good too.
The NFL scheduling committee is on here. Jason Kelsey is on here. Kenneth Murray is on here, and as is former Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, who Geoff doesn't even drink coffee, so I don't understand how Tim Hortons is on this list.
Yeah,
and
it is weird, right? Like he's and do you agree with me? Like I'd never heard him say anything about it in the past. Now then, it seems like every episode I think it's because he has an audience now because people are getting mad at him.
Well, and I think they may have put in a Tim Hortons by his house.
Oh,
and it's causing like traffic.
Yeah. Okay. So maybe that's why.
And then Trudeau, I never I've been friends with Geoff for over a decade. I've never heard him talk about politics once until this year.
Now he's on Rumble. Now he's on Rumble all the time, like you mentioned.
So that's the Feinberg. I think it's gonna be Michael Staley. That's one of the most random things I've ever heard in my life.
So he reached out to Geoff. How did he like come into contact with Geoff? Like give me the cliff notes here.
He got a DM from Brandon Staley's brother saying, "Do I know you?" Because I guess Geoff was like ranting about something like online, like tweeting at or making comments towards.
Okay.
And it was just like, fuck you.
Jeez.
Like, went in on him. Next one, best Cust corner. Only 4 Cust corners this year. Before we used to do it every week we could probably get rid of this category, actually, because we do the Cust corners week by week. It should be best Cust corner topic is probably the actual for next year. Rob, I know you're watching doing these. So instead of, because I just put them all together as best of shows now, we rarely do off-season ones. So 46, 47, 48, and 49 are on there, just with various topics from 5 straight weeks of the football show jammed into one, back to back to back. That's how they go. And then we get to most insane person. You said that it's a runaway for Tim this year, Bronsteter. Do you think that there is a year where it's going to get as close as it was 2 years ago? Or was that Tim's chance?
It might have been Tim's chance because like this year was really off the rails, like really bad. I mean, if he could dial it back just like a little bit, maybe people will forget about like how bad. I don't know. I just don't think he's capable of it. It just seems like the more he says things, the worse it gets. And maybe that 2 years ago, I feel like 2 years ago, people were kind of voting for Geoff as like a gag, and like because it was close, that the gag has kind of run its course. But Geoff does seem to be getting a little bit crazier himself. It just seems like the quotient is still a lot higher for Tim.
Yeah, well, Kenny, I think this all depends on Geoff. Because Geoff can do a 6 out of 10 on the Cust crazy scale and get credit for a 20 out of 10.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I mean, Geoff is out, a lot more content nowadays for Mr. Feinberg, so that gives him a little bit more chances to have insane moments that might pop up. So, it's possible that he can get back and get as close as it was a couple of years ago if people are listening to some of his other stuff. Also, shout out to Rob, who makes all these categories. Really nice guy. Met him in Toronto as well.
Yeah, I forgot Rob was there.
Yeah, he lives in the DC area. We'll probably hang out here sometime soon. Really cool guy. Yeah, I mean, it's possible. I mean, Geoff he has his loony moments. I mean, hanging out with him a few times, you definitely see it. You definitely see it.
Oh, here's the thing about it though. Like, in terms of like actually a more insane person, it probably is Geoff in terms of like how he actually handles himself like around people.
Yes.
Whereas like Cust just has an insane worldview. Like his worldview is so insane that like it's almost impossible to ignore. But like if you were to take the two of them and like meet them in person and spend a day with them, Geoff would probably have the capacity to be a more like outwardly insane person. Does that make sense?
If you didn't know either one of them and you met them both at the same time, Geoff would win most insane every single time.
Yeah.
Like if you didn't hear what Tim has said in the past and stuff like that, if you just met them as people, and this is not a knock on Geoff. I love fucking Geoff. That's one of the best things about him. But like if you just meet him, like the stories I told about what happened in Toronto, what happened in Montreal.
Tim would never go to a rally. Yeah, Tim would never go to a rally and yell at anybody. It's not in his character.
Yeah.
Geoff was pacing around at President's Cup with a phone to his ear behind a crowd of people listening to Chargers off-season press conferences and getting himself worked up.
Yeah, that's like, again, Tim like loves the Jets, but he wouldn't be doing that.
Well, he also wouldn't know how to use his phone to get the press conferences.
There you go. That's fair.
So Geoff's knowledge of technology is really putting him behind. Although the four of us played around at Geoff's course. Kenny and Cust rode together. I walked and Geoff drove. But it felt like Geoff had never played the course before. Is how I would describe it.
He like didn't know where he was going in the cart and was like,
yes, that's exactly it. He was just like, over here. It's like, oh, the cart doesn't go over here. It's like, Geoff, you've been a member of this course for 30 years.
Yeah. It was definitely wild. It was wild. That was a fun round. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And Pat, wonderful golfer, has that nice little baby cut, can hit it at about 280, 290. I was very, very impressed by your golf game, sir.
I bought that driver that we used that day, but I got the specs wrong, and now I can't drive the ball.
Oh, you didn't get fitted for your swing?
I did. Well, I got the specs from what I thought were the clubs from the course. I was like, this is perfect. I'll just get this. I hit this club perfectly, but I think I got the wrong shaft, and now I can't hit the golf ball.
That sucks. Golf is wild too. Like one small little thing like that can switch everything. I made one adjustment on my swing like 3 weeks ago, and I went 4 straight rounds with the best rounds I've had this year.
It's glorious. Crazy. It's glorious. I had no round worse than 86 this year. And
you played. What did you shoot, like 83, 82 at Oakdale? Pretty fucking impressive.
I was 81 at Oakdale.
Yeah, pretty fucking impressive. I was impressed.
But I've been back-to-back rounds in the 90s, the last 2 rounds that I played. So
yeah, it's golf.
It goes away just as quickly as it comes.
Yeah.
All right, guys, that was a lot of fun. I'm excited for this year. I've been kind of out on the Custys because it's been in the back of my mind of doing the live show. Now that we've talked this through, I'm very excited to do the Custys.
Yeah, I want to hear what wins because I think there are a lot of really, especially the worst take, like so many bad ones, like so many egregious takes.
Is there anything in this one that you think will like contend, Kenny, at the like best of the Custys?
I mean, the Stefan one is going to be an all-timer. There's no doubt in my mind about that one. The Stefan one will be something we talk about when we get together years from now.
That reverse curse probably would be there. That most reverse curse with that weird rule. That's probably like an all-timer.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, that is true. Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's up there with La La Land, but it's close.
I forgot about that one.
That might be the all-time winner.
What was it again? I remember it vaguely.
Well,
So he had been all about La La Land winning Best Picture because he loved La La Land and he hates Moonlight.
Mhm.
I don't know why, but he even brought up how much he hated Moonlight to me the other day when the New York Times released that like best 100 movies of the century last year. People didn't even see that movie. No one likes it, but he's probably still bitter about La La Land. But he guaranteed it would win, and then it was announced as the winner on the broadcast. And between the time that it was announced, he had tweeted out, "See, I told you," and then it got reversed.
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay, I remember this now. Yeah.
I love La La Land. One of my favorite movies.
I did not like La La Land.
I love it. The chemistry between them two and the music was great.
I mean, maybe this is a hot take. I just find him to be a bit of a stiff.
The dude.
Yeah. Ryan Gosling?
I do too, but I liked him in that role. And I'm a huge Emma Stone fan. Emma Stone to me is like the new version of Nicole Kidman, and I'm a huge Nicole Kidman fan as well. And so it's stuff that they're in, I just tend to like a lot. I'm a big fan of hers.
Never saw it.
Did you watch The Curse?
No.
Oh, I watched most of it. Did it end well? Because I don't think I've watched the last like 3 or 4 episodes, and I love Nathan Fielder.
I watched the first 3, and then I think like my sub came up on Paramount Plus, and I just kind of forgot about it.
Yeah, I think I watched the first 3 or 4. I couldn't really get into it, but I like the rehearsal, and I love Nathan For You.
Nathan Fielder's a tough hang, so you need to be in the mood for him.
Yeah, I would agree, but I think Nathan For You is like one of the all-time funniest shows. It's so good.
But The Curse, Kenny, if you check it out and you like Emma Stone, you'll like it.
Okay, I'll check it out. I haven't even heard of it, so I'll definitely check it out. But I am a big fan of hers. Is she naked in it? That'd be even better.
Yes.
Oh, how the fuck did I not know about this? I'm definitely gonna watch it. I'll watch it all tonight.
Yeah, perfect. It's one of the weirdest fucking things I've ever seen on TV.
It's a weird show.
Okay.
I mean, Nathan Fielder is like the king of weird kind of schadenfreude shows.
Maybe that's what we need to do. Get Cust to review Nathan Fielder's rehearsal bits.
That was a great season. That recent rehearsal season was awesome.
Oh, the
airplane
747?
Yeah, awesome.
All right, guys. Aaron, do you want to promote yourself, or would you like to remain anonymous?
I mean, you just look me up, and you can find information about me. I cover mixed martial arts, so if you're into mixed martial arts, check out my work.
Kenny is the host of Fantasy Golf Degenerates on Mayo Media Network, coming out every single Monday evening during the golf season, and you'll catch him on with me every now and again as well. I'm Pat Mayo. Thank you all for watching. Remember to smash the like, sub to the channel, and give me your runaway winner or new category for next year down in the comment section or in the audio reviews to get into a draw for that free PXG drive. All right, I'm Pat Mayo. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.
Pat Mayo Experience! Experience!